Okay, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Not a whole lot to test in this one since there's not really music in this game. Stay on, Miku! You must stay on! Okay, everyone, welcome to another weekly stream. And this stream is actually per the request of James Campbell, who is back in me on Patreon. He sent me a message on Patreon asking if I would do Doom for the Atari Jaguar today on September 28th. And I told him, hey, I don't normally take requests, but I love me some Doom, and so sure. And so here we are. I've actually been wanting to do an updated Let's Play of this game, you know, since I'm using the Frame Meister now and I've got RGB from the Jaguar. But I really don't feel like spending 2.5 to 3 hours in a dedicated Let's Play. There's a whole lot of things that can go wrong in a Let's Play that's that long. But you know, so here we are. We can just do a live stream of it, and that's fine, you know. So the video quality will be better than my previous Let's Play, and we'll get to hang out and chat with each other. There's Mr. James Campbell himself, so you guys can thank him for this live stream. Again, I don't usually take requests, but if you ask me to play Doom, I might budge. Where's Ronnie Webster? Ronnie is working. Ronnie actually has a new schedule, so he actually works the overnight shift. I think he usually goes into work about now. So, unfortunately, we will not have Ronnie in the chat tonight. Doom is one of Ronnie's favorite games, and he also really likes the Jaguar version as well. Ronnie actually participated in my first Jaguar Doom Let's Play that I did several years ago. We played through the first, 10 levels or so, and he provided some really awesome information about Doom in general, so you guys can feel free to check that out. Just go to my channel and search for Doom, and you will find the video. So yeah, we've got a bunch of people in the chat: Sleeves of War, Drilly Press, Miku Never Dies, Andy Author, James Campbell, Ashton Withers, and I think that might be it so far. Let's see. Yep, that's it. And me. Can't forget old me. Actually, what I want to do before I start, well, first off, I want to give a big shout out to my current Patreon backers. We actually did get a new Patreon backer last week. Roy, my boy, I think he goes by Roy Decema or something like that on in chat, so maybe he'll pop in later today. But Roy, if you're watching either live or on the past broadcast, thank you very much. And I'll just leave that up while I spam the internet, letting people know we're playing Doom right now. Yes, everyone. Thank James for requesting this. James is actually, are you on vacation or something, James? I forgot what the story was, but normally James isn't really available to catch me live on Thursday nights, but he was able to adjust his schedule for this very special night. Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to do some social media stuff. It's a long story for myself today. I'm not going to go into the details, but I've only had a couple of hours of sleep after staying up for most of the afternoon. As many of you guys know, I work overnight, but I've got something coming up this weekend that's requiring me to flip my sleep schedule. So when I got home from work today, I had to stay up all day. But I wanted to get at least a couple hours of sleep for this stream so I wouldn't be completely brain dead. So there we go. I got my social media stuff done. So the point is, I didn't have enough time to get on and do social media things and things like that and let people know that we are doing our thing here. Alright, so there we go. One last thing, I'm going to switch over to the Super Chat patrons. So this is another slide I've decided to start incorporating into my live streams. Big shout out to all you folks that have submitted Super Chats to my live stream. Super Chats are basically direct donations. I don't ask for these things, but it is something that YouTube has implemented, and it's a really cool feature. If you want to support a creator you like, if they're doing a live stream, you can just super chat their way, and it's basically a straight donation, which is really cool. So yeah, all these folks have done super chats in the last 30 days or so, and thank you guys for your patronage. And let's switch back over to the gameplay and actually start playing this thing. So Doom on the Jaguar has, oops, wrong slide. Doom on the Jaguar has, it's got a demo just like in the PC versions of Doom. And so, you can let that run in the background if you need to fall asleep to some demon slaying. Let's see. That is true, Sleeves. Yeah, I mean, it's fitting. Like, I'm not going to be doing any Doom videos in October, so this actually works out really well. It helps us lead into Sunday, which is October 1st. And so on Sunday, you guys are going to see my first October Let's Play. Of course, if you're a Patreon backer, you already got to see it last Sunday. For those of you guys that aren't backing on Patreon, October 1st is going to be the date of my first October Let's Play. And just to keep in mind, folks, in October, I'm going to be upping the amount of times I stream. So I'm going to have my normal Thursday night streams, but I'm also going to have Tuesday morning streams, East Coast or Eastern Standard Time. So if you're one of those folks that lives on the other side of the world or something like that, and you can't catch me on Thursday nights because it's too late for you, you might be able to catch me I guess your time, early afternoon on Tuesday. For those of you guys in North America, it'll be early morning Tuesday, and it's going to be horror themed content for both my Let's Plays and my live streams, as well as my Tuesday live stream. So October's going to be fun. There's going to be some modern stuff in there too for the Tuesday morning streams. I've practiced a couple of games recently, and we're going to be playing through those on the Tuesday morning streams. So. Alright, so what we're going to do is not play on Nightmare because that is going to be a total crapshoot. What I might do, depending on the amount of time it takes to get through the game or how much time we have left over, I might actually start a new game on Nightmare and we can just kind of see what happens. But we're just going to play on Ultra Violence. If you have two Jaguar systems, you can actually link them up together and you can play co-op or you can play deathmatch head-to-head. Unfortunately, the network code is quite buggy, so even if you do that, your game probably isn't going to last very long, but it is a really neat feature. It is something I actually tried back in the day, and when it worked well, but because the netcode is buggy, it's not that great. You probably just want to get a PS1 and System Link Doom that way. So let's go. Alright, so I wanted to get used to the controls again. So it looks like A is run, B should be fire, and then C should be strafe. I think that's how I had the controls set, yeah. That's how I prefer to play this version of Doom. Unfortunately, the Jaguar stock controller does not have shoulder keys. The Pro controller that was released towards the end of the Jaguar's life does have shoulder keys, and it's also got an extra row of buttons as well. And those extra rows of buttons were actually mapped to the numerical keypad. Same with the shoulder keys. Unfortunately, Doom does not have left or right individual strafe buttons no matter what. They're not mapped down to the button keys, unfortunately. So even if you have a Pro controller, you can't really you still can't get individual strafe functionality, like strafe left and strafe right as separate commands. So Doom on Jaguar, because there's no circle strafing or anything like that, it's not really possible. You'll find me just kind of like playing Wolfenstein 3D style, where I just sort of like peek my head around the corners like this, and this is really the way to play through the game and stay safe. Yeah, even if you have a Pro controller, there is still no circle strafing, unfortunately. Whereas some games, like I want to say Alien vs. Predator, they actually had strafe functions on the numerical keypad itself. And so when the Jag Pro controller came out, people were actually able to strafe left and right individually with, you know, I guess the shoulder keys on that game, which was really interesting. Any modern 2016 Doom for October? No, Miku, sorry. Yeah, none for me. I might play the game. I actually played it a little bit earlier today on Twitch. You know, when I was trying to force myself to stay up all afternoon to flip my sleep schedule, I played a bunch of different games on Twitch today, and I played a little bit of Doom 2016 on the PC. Didn't stick with it very long because I was playing on Nightmare mode, and Nightmare is really, really difficult on the new Doom. Especially on PC. I think Nightmare on PC is actually harder than Nightmare on consoles. Enemies really have a tendency of like leading in their shots on Doom 2016 on PC. Oh, and of course, like right as I mentioned that, Sleeves asks, have you tried Nightmare? Holy crap, Anthony, man! Anthony. Thank you, sir. I don't even know how to thank you guys anymore for these super chats. Oh man, Anthony, thank you so much, man. Let's see. Yeah, Nightmare is pretty absurd on Doom 2016. Hey, MD Mister. But what's even more absurd is Ultra Nightmare, which it basically turns into a roguelike. You can't continue. So when you die, it's game over no matter how far you are into the game. Oh man, everyone give Anthony a big shout out. Wow, I don't even know how to thank you guys anymore. Anthony, man, you're spoiling me. Oh, you were thinking of Ultra Nightmare. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's the one where when you die, you can't continue at all. And I have tried it. I have tried it a couple of times, actually. And, yeah, no, I'm never going to be able to do that. Oh my god. MD Mister, hey, thank you, sir. Yeah, I've actually seen people get through a good portion of the game on Ultra Nightmare, but it's very tense to watch, you know, because they're trying to play super safe, and you know, any little mistake could cause them to just have the end of have the end of their run. Awesome, Anthony. Well, that's really cool that even your wife enjoys it. So if there's a Mrs. Johnson out there, thank you for watching. I love hearing when there's like multiple people in a family that like watching the streams or the videos or things like that. That's really awesome. Alright, so we're gonna come out here. We opened up that secret. And like I said, I kind of play this a little bit like Wolfenstein 3D, where I just peek my head around the corners. Kind of like so. Get the old trusty chain gun. Hey, no problem, James. No problem. And I think... Did I just run? No, okay. It's like I saw a ghost or something. I thought there was a zombie soldier over there. Okay, so normally I, you know, when I play Classic Doom, I just kind of skip the chainsaw area, but we're gonna go ahead and get it. Because I think I might have skipped it in my Let's Play as well. A lot of times when I play this on stream, I skip this room just because it's entirely optional. But since we're on a live stream, I'm not as, you know, strapped for time. We'll check it out. So what's particularly special about this version of Doom? Obviously there's no music, but it looks pretty good. Any other details? Well, what's interesting is that this was actually the first developed port of Doom. This was, you know, the basis for most other Doom conversions that id Software did back in the day. And even conversions that id Software didn't do. You know, like it was the basis for the Game Boy Advance version, for instance. And even though the 32X one, which came out, which actually released first to the public, it was also based on this version of Doom. So the Jaguar version of Doom was the backbone for many other home ports back in the day, which is really interesting. What else is interesting about this version is... Oh god, it's just it's a nice 3D game running on the Jaguar. That's just really something. The Jaguar is not really known for its 3D, and I know Doom is... I guess not really true 3D. It's, you know, it's not polygonal. There's a lot of information that online that talks about how Doom's maps are actually rendered, and yeah, I mean it's a, you know, really decent version of Doom running on an Atari Jaguar, which is just something in and of itself. But it's also got some really nice, like, shading in this game. It takes advantage of one of the Jaguar's, I guess, graphic modes and display modes, and it, you know, enables this really dark, you know, kind of gloomy shading on everything. So it's interesting, you know, to look at this and then look at other, you know, ports from the same era, like the PS1 version or even the 32X one, which had to be trimmed down a lot. It also plays well. It's got, you know, you can take advantage of the Jaguar's numeric keypad. A lot of people like to complain that the Jaguar controller has too many buttons on it, but it's games like this where it really comes in handy. So if I just want to switch back to the shotgun, I just press the 3 key. If I want to do the chainsaw, I press the 1 key. And if I want to go back to the chain gun, I just press the 4 key, like that. I can just switch on the fly. And I'm not scrolling through my weapons like I am on other versions. I'm just pressing the numeric key, just like it was I'm playing the PC version of Doom. So there's some really nice features, and that you would be surprised at how important that little control method is. Because if you get cornered and you need to switch, say you've got your rocket launcher and then you get cornered and you need to switch to something useful that's not going to blow yourself up. Well, in like PlayStation Doom or Super Nintendo Doom, you gotta scroll through your weapons one by one, even the Xbox 360 version of the game, and I guess subsequently the PS3 version as well. The gameplay it slows down to a screeching halt when you need to switch your weapons in those versions, but on the Jaguar one, you can play quite brisk, which is nice. So that's one of the big unique factors to this version of the game. Also, it's gotta be one of the very first network linkable system link games ever. Like for a console game. I mean, obviously, you know, computer games were doing networking before this, but for game consoles, I don't think there was really anything before this that allowed system link. Maybe there was like a special example or two. No, there had to have been a couple of other examples, but this was one of the earliest examples of system linking, which was really, really interesting when you think about it. When people think system linking from back in the day, they always think PS1, but that came, you know, that came out, you know, the PlayStation itself came out, you know, over a year after this version of Doom, you know, was released. So... Alright, let's see. Drowns in Kool-Aid. Dude, the talking like a pirate was awesome, man. Drowns in Kool-Aid, that was a lot of fun. So the frame rate sleeps it is a little bit better than some ports, you know. It's I don't know if it's really better than the 32X one. I don't think it is, actually. I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely better than the Super Nintendo version, and you know, it's not as smooth as the PS1 version of the game, but it is still brisk, and it plays well. Miku says no monster drink tonight. Miku, I actually drank the monster drink at like 8 in the morning today. Because again, when I got home from work this morning, I had to try to stay up all afternoon to flip my sleep schedule. So, yeah, no monster right now, but I do have a Diet Pepsi for some caffeine. Oh. Yeah, the no music thing, Andy, unfortunately, I want to say, I don't know the exact story, but there's a very specific reason. They didn't not include music because they thought it was going to be more atmospheric. They did it because they basically used the sound processor to help render like parts of the game. So that's why there's no music in the game. I think the sound processor or something like that, the DSP was tied up doing other tasks, basically. They, you know, which is why you have music in between stages, because it's not doing anything. It can do the music now, but once, you know, it's rendering the maps and everything, it's tied up doing other tasks, which is why there is no in-game music in the game. There actually is a bug. There's a sound glitch you can do, and I've done it in the past. I don't remember how to do it now. It was really easy to do it when we were system linking and getting the system linking glitches, where sound effects wouldn't play in the game, but the music would. So it was like you could have one or the other through a glitch. So you could link up Game Boys, yeah, but I'm talking like home console, not handhelds or anything like that. So I think Jagdoom was one of the earliest examples. I thought there was like, I don't know, there might have been some weird add-on for... no, never mind, I'm not even gonna go there. Couldn't you like link up Zero Tolerance in the Genesis or something if you had, I don't know, something weird like that? But yeah, I'm not gonna say the Jaguar in Doom was the first example of home system linking, but I think it was one of the earliest. Alright. When's the next Super Nintendo Doom Endurance run? I don't know. I do want to revisit that because, you know, my Let's Play was before I got the Framemeister, I think. Yeah. And so, you know, my Super Nintendo Let's Play of Doom could use a bump in video quality. I mean, maybe we'll do a live stream of that sometime. I do plan on doing a live stream of the 3DO version of the game, and that's gonna be a fun one. At least it's got music, so there is that, but it is, it's gonna be an interesting experience. I wanted to do a Let's Play on it, but I've tried practicing it on Twitch. But it is just a nightmare to play. Especially if you're playing, you know, full screen. And I'm not gonna be one of those guys that does a YouTube video and shrinks the screen size all the way down to where it's like the size of a postage stamp. I don't think that's fun to watch. I really think there's no point in doing that. Other than to show that, hey, the game can run fine. You know, as long as you put, you know, put a magnifying glass up to your screen, then it's fine. But we will try to tough our way through that, and that will be interesting. Super Nintendo version, I can still play. I have no problems with playing it. It is, you know, it is difficult, but it's not the 3DO version. If you guys haven't seen the 3DO version, you guys will be in for a treat, because there is really very little as bad as the 3DO version of Doom when it comes down to gameplay. You know, much like the sound issue on the lack of music issue on Jaguar Doom, I think context is very important when talking about these things. So there's a lot of people that are just like, dude, it doesn't have music. But I feel like if you understand why it doesn't have music, like, I don't know. There is still the fact that it doesn't have music, which sucks, but, you know, the devs did what they did at the time under the time constraints they had. Perhaps if they were given a lot more time, and say Atari wasn't, you know, trying to get the game rushed out, because Atari paid id Software to make this game. You know, they basically contracted id Software. That's how, you know, that's how things work. And there was a deadline, and they had to get the game ready by a certain date, and so, you know, it turned out the way it did. But, you know, having that context as to why it turned out the way it did, I think kind of alleviates some of the pain of the end result. And that leads into, you know, the 3DO story of Doom, and that's a really interesting story if you guys haven't read or heard about it. And yes, the 3DO version is pretty much hands down the worst version of console Doom, but it did make for a really interesting story that, you know, we can talk about today. And it wasn't the fault of the developer, the person responsible for porting the game. It was it's interesting, to say the least. Yeah, I totally agree, Sleeves. And I think if you know the historical aspects, you kind of like let the practical aspects slide a little bit. You don't care about them as much, having that context. Fortunately, in the case of like Jag Doom, I can still recommend it. I can still recommend it to either people that are just, you know, getting into the Jaguar and they want a decent game for the system. Yes, it might not be the best version of Doom to play, but it is still a good version of Doom. And, you know, and especially in a library like the Jaguars, where you don't have a crap ton of phenomenal AAA games, you know, I can totally recommend Doom to people that have a Jag and they want to see what is good on the system. Now, if you're just like a casual person, or casual person, if you're not so hardcore as to have, say, every version of Doom, or to want all the best games in the Jaguar, regardless, you know, of how redundant they may be in 2017, then no, I'll just say go play a different version of Doom. Go play you know, a source port on the PC, like Z-Doom or GZ Doom, or, you know, if you got an Xbox 360 or PS3, and now an Xbox One, go play those versions of the game. You know? But to people that are, you know, definitely interested in this era of gaming, in particular console gaming, you want to see, you know, the best that every system had to offer, then yeah, I wholeheartedly recommend this version of the game. Even though it is made redundant, it still has some of its unique aspects, like we talked about, like the constant weapon switching and the, you know, the darker shading and things like that, which gives it its own kind of characteristics and feel. The less thought about the Calico Chameleon, the better. That's my answer to that question. Hey, Society of Sin. That is a very good point, James. A lot of people do just whine. That's absolutely true. And I find that in a lot of cases, some people have a hard time stepping back and just kind of like seeing things for what they are. It's a video game, you know? There are more pressing issues in life. Yeah, from a quick Googling, it looks like you're right about Zero Tolerance. Yeah, so Zero... Actually, you know what's funny? Didn't Zero Tolerance come out... When did Zero Tolerance come out? Was that 93 or was that 94? Let's see. Zero Tolerance. $1994. I wonder what the release date was on it. Yeah, it looks like Zero Tolerance and Jaguar Doom actually came out the same year, so... Two system linkable games in the same year on two separate consoles. Oh yeah, no, I totally agree with you there, Sleaze, but the thing is, like, when when we're talking about these things, you'd be surprised how many people are, you know, constant console gamers, but they're total, like, computer phobes. Like, they're computer phobic. Like, when it comes to playing games on their computers. Yeah, they might have a computer or, like, a laptop to, like, browse the internet or, you know, pay their bills or whatever, but when it comes to actually playing games, they are just in a totally different world and they're lost. And, which is why I usually recommend, I'll say, you know, PC Doom, obviously, with the source port, but, or the Xbox 360 version or PS3 version of the game. It's crazy how many people are console gamers but don't actually even want to touch a PC with a 10-foot pole when it comes to gaming. Evans, yeah, no, that's what I was talking about in regards to 3DO Doom. You know, with that context, you know, yeah, it's a horrible version of Doom, but knowing the story behind it, you don't really let it get to you all that much. It's like, you're like, oh, well, that's why it turned out the way it did. Okay. I can't be angry at the developer. I can be angry at the CEO of the company, though, for being an idiot. No, I'm just kidding. I won't be angry, because there's so many other versions of Doom available. It is sad, because, you know, the 3DO probably could have put out a really solid version of Doom, but unfortunately it just wasn't to be. Oops. I really like the red sky on this bonus stage on this version. In other versions of the game, typically it is, you know, like the PC version, for instance. It's just like this generic grayish backdrop. You know, it's like of the mountains or something like that. I really like the red here. I think it looks really cool. All right. Look at those glorious giblets. Oh yeah, that's right. Console version of Doom. There are no giblets. Oh no, there are. There's a couple. Trust me, Andy, when I say you don't need a powerful computer to run classic Doom. Yeah, when I mean people that are like computer phobes, they're like, they won't even run like really old games that are pre-configured for them that are guaranteed to run on any piece of equipment that they have. You know, like old MS-DOS releases through GOG.com, or, you know, a Doom source port or something like that. That's the kind of stuff I'm really talking about. I totally understand, like, staying away from PC gaming because your computer's probably not powerful enough. That makes sense, but there's stuff that will run pretty much no matter what, and Doom is one of those games. Peking demons seem to be a waste of ammo. Well, no more of a waste than anything else in the game. It's just an enemy to kill. And how you kill it is up to you. Alright, we need to come back down here. And this way. The PS3 version of Doom has slowdown. Really? That's the first I've heard of that. Is that true? I've never heard of the PS3 version having slowdown. I don't have the PS3 version, but I would like to get it because, unlike the 360 one, it's got... I want to say it's got Final Doom and Master Levels for Doom 2 as well. Well, the thing about GOG is that, and I don't think it was always like this, I think they got bought up by CD Projekt Red, which are the guys that make The Witcher. And so if you're a development studio like that, and you've got a AAA game, you want to distribute it on your own platform and make the most money from it, then it you know, it makes sense to start offering those modern games. And I'm kind of the same way. Like I started on GOG when it was in its like beta phase, back in like 2007 or 2008 or something like that, and I have a very large library of MS-DOS releases through that website, and so I feel you there for sure, but I mean, it doesn't get in the way of DOS releases, of the DOS releases on there. So I don't mind it. And it gives, and what's kind of cool about it actually when you think about it is that it does give people an alternate to Steam. There's people out there that are very anti-DRM, and, you know, the GOG model works for them, which is pretty cool. So at least there's an alternative, other than, like, Origin or Uplay or stupid services like that, that probably don't need to exist because Steam is better. Yeah, they were bought out, I think, a long time ago. Ooh, crap. Oh, this isn't good. I didn't want to fall down here yet. Crap, we might die! Please don't kill me. Shoot. That was a pain. Whew. Has anyone tried BFG edition with 3D turned on? I have not. Okay, see, in the PC version of the game, there would be specters. Are there specters in this version? I don't think there are. I think they cut out the specters. Thank you, Miko. Cuphead comes out tomorrow. Really? That's actually really good news. I might actually buy that tomorrow. Is that Xbox One as well tomorrow, or I'm assuming Xbox One and PC are launching on the same day. Yeah, I've been looking forward to that for a long time. Yeah, see, now I need to play it safe. This is ultraviolence, yes. Eva, Sea Serpent Slayer. Austin prevails again, matey. Yarr. I wish I was better at impersonations. I would totally get down with Talk Like a Pirate Day. Yep, both come out tomorrow. Awesome. I think I'm gonna buy Cuphead tomorrow then. Did they say how much it's gonna cost? Mika says that was great pirate talk. Everyone says I'm improving. Well, that's great to know, guys. Thanks. That's reassuring. I think I have found my new purpose in life. Alright, so this is supposed to come down. Man, I'm getting wrecked, too. Normally I don't get wrecked when I play this game. Alright, let me think. Where's some other health? I really don't want to die. Oh, I know what I did wrong too. There's a soul sphere up top. I normally get that first. It's over here, see? But I wasn't really paying attention. Is Jaguar Doom always this dark? I mean, yeah, it's dark. I can see the textures. I actually raised the brightness, believe it or not. The only reason it's this dark is because it's going through my upscaler and it doesn't look... I don't know, if you play it on a CRT, it looks fine. I would suggest raising the brightness on your screen, because this is normal to me. I can see these textures. See? Right in front of me. But yeah, it's dark in the distance, for sure. $20 on Xbox One. Oh, awesome. Hey, Larry G. How are you doing tonight? To see what carpet is all about. What is carpet? What is that, Larry G? Battle Gorega is coming out tomorrow? Is that what you mean? What is that coming out on? Alright, it looks like there's no health. Actually, hold on. That's right, they chopped out this little side room. Alright, well, this sucks. I have no health. Oh, there's a stim pack up here. Okay. Yeah, man, normally I don't play this bad in Jaguar Doom. In any version of Doom, really. You know, I consider myself a pretty decent Doom player. I play it quite regularly in the PC, and I play a lot of mods and WODs and things like that. Yeah, Dash, it's dark. Quit your bitching. Deal with it. It is what it is. Ah, shoot, man. Sorry, I meant Cuphead and Battle Gorega. Okay. Awesome. Alright, well... I heard that Battle Gorega was going to be really expensive, though. I mean, not that it's not expensive already to obtain a copy on Saturn, but... Alright, well this is going to be a problem, actually, because I don't have any weapons, and, yeah, this is bad, actually. Ah, this sucks. And we're dead again. Yeah, this isn't really good at all. This is not good at all. This is real hardware. Yeah, we're not using emulation. This is the real deal. But if you're playing it on a CRT, it's not nearly as bad. Yeah, like I just fired it up on my PVM, and I can see the textures in the mid distance, and even long range as well. It's just that when I run this through my upscaler, it does not do a good job of, you know, retaining the detail, basically. And what you're seeing is Jaguar Doom going into an upscaler through RGB and running into my capture card. So it looks a little more muddy than it does on a TV, that traditional CRT that it was meant to be displayed on. So yeah, I mean, I've got my RGB running into my PVM, and then that runs into my upscaler, and then the capture card subsequently. And man, it looks very, very nice on the CRT. You know, you can see farther into the distance. And unlike my capture card signal or footage, I haven't even touched the brightness on the monitor or anything like that. I wish I could show you guys. Yeah, if you're playing this on the hardware it's originally intended to be played on, then it looks fine. It's still dark. I think that was the intended look that id Software went with. They're using a special display mode that gives it this in this heavily shaded look, and that was intentional from what I understand. And that especially doesn't translate well to the upscaler and capture card. Hey Darren. Real pinball machine. Very cool, man. What are you thinking about getting? One that a lot of people don't like. It doesn't matter if people don't like it. What matters is if you like it. Yeah, don't ever worry about what people think when it comes to pinball machines, because there's a wide variety of tastes in pinball. Well, Dungeons & Dragons is a fun game, man. Yeah, it's not popular, but it is a fun game. I would own one. Hey, Cabal. Yeah, no, you're right, Dash. I mean, that's why I have a PVM right next to me, and I still have 2 consumer CRTs. You know, I've got one in my game room here, and I've got one in the living room as well. And I've got the upscaler for my HD displays. But some HD displays in particular, like the one I'm using here, just looks terrible, even with the upscale. Particularly on 3D games. It's not actually bad with 2D games. The 2D games, upscaled, have a tendency of looking razor sharp, even on my crappier HD monitors. And, you know, when I use, like, Super Nintendo or Genesis through the FrameMeister on my HD TV in the main room, I love playing the games out there because they're, you know, the pictures are super sharp, and, you know, the difference in the display quality from HD display to HD display varies. So results may vary too. CRTs are obviously the best. You know, I love playing on my CRTs, but there are other times where I just want to play on my 47-inch HD display, you know? Which ends up being much larger than any of my CRTs, so. Thanks, James. Yeah, I'm trying, man. I feel like my performance has improved. I'm looking at the PVM now instead of my display monitor, and I feel like I'm playing better as a result. There's less input lag going through the PVM directly, as opposed to playing on the upscaled image. So there is that, too. And it has a topper too. That's cool. Just make sure that you're not overpaying, Darren. Because there might be a time eventually where you want to sell it. And you don't want to be that guy that paid $3,000 for a $2,000 machine. Or in the case of Dungeons & Dragons, a $1,500 machine. Hey, Wayne. What's your opinion on calculus? I would probably hate it. I've never taken calculus, though, so... Nice, Cabal. Yeah, I'm really big into pinball. I got into it about 6 years ago, and I have a side Twitch channel for pinball. I have a side YouTube channel for pinball as well. Real pinball gameplay videos. If anyone's interested in checking that out, I have a link in the description of, I think, most of my videos here. There should be a link to my AKM pinball page on YouTube. And I'm actually going out to a pinball show in York, Pennsylvania on Saturday. So I'm bringing my Spider-Man Home Edition pinball machine with me, hoping maybe I can sell it there. And if not, then at least people can enjoy it. Are there companies still producing CRT displays? I don't think so, Sleeves. All right. You're paying under 2K? Okay, that's cool. Yeah, Dungeons & Dragons, the pinball machine, it's a cool game. I like it. I would even consider owning one for a little bit. A couple of people in my area have owned it over the years, and I have gotten a chance to play it a few times, and I do like it. It's got some unique gameplay mechanics that you don't see on many machines. Interesting ball lock functionality, and interesting outlane ball save mechanics as well. It's also got a good soundtrack. But yeah, I think it's a good starter pin. The only thing about that era of machines, the System 11s, is, you know, you might run into maintenance issues, and so you might have to be willing to get your hands dirty. Whereas if you buy like a more modern machine, a lot of times you don't really have to do anything with them, aside from basic mechanical things like, oh, my... this isn't even really mechanical, but like, oh, my flipper rubber broke. Let me replace that. You know, my slingshot rubber broke, things like that. Never knew anyone with a pinball machine. Yeah, it's not too common to see people with pins. I mean, they are out there. Actually, you'd be surprised. There's actually, I don't know. I've never known anyone. No, that's not true. I knew one person with the pinball machine. It wasn't even really, I don't know. I had a friend and her dad had a pinball machine at like their vacation house or whatever that we went to one time. And it was a Twilight Zone. Great pinball machine. I didn't really realize at the time because this was back in like 2001. Hey, Brandon. How are you doing, man? Yeah, no, absolutely, sleeves. And yeah, they've got that common ancestry, you know, they both basically originated in arcades. And they're actually more similar than people usually give them credit for. They're both very eye-hand coordination oriented. They're both very addictive, and they're both a ton of fun. They're both audio-visual extravaganzas, and, you know, which is why I tell people, you know, tournament directors for pinball in particular, or people that want to try to get pinball out, you know, try to get people interested in the pinball, I say, you know, get the gamers in the pinball. They'll flock to it once they understand it, because they're already a part of that mentality, that gaming mentality, like... Once they start flipping that ball around, they get that visceral feel that you don't get with video games. They get hooked. That's how I got hooked, you know? I was 2 years into doing my retro gaming channel here on YouTube, and I was out, you know, browsing one of the local, you know, books and music shops for video games, because they started taking video games in. And, I went to the mall across the street to get some food, and there was a hole-in-a-wall arcade there that had an Avatar pinball machine by Stern from 2010, and I pumped a couple bucks into it, and it reeled me in, man. It was fresh, you know? So, fresh, fun, exciting. Very much like, you know, arcade games were to me at one point in time. And still are. I mean, arcade gaming is some of my favorite, favorite types of gaming. But yeah, absolutely. You mean the cool thing about pinball is if you buy the machines, you start almost, you know, it's like people in their hobby cars, you know, like they like working on them and things like that. And pinball machines are very much, you know, similar. For one, there are times you need to actually physically fix them, but then you can clean them and make them look nice, and you can add modifications to them. You know, there's some people that just go all out with mods and they really bling out their games, and they look awesome, but... And there's some things I like to do to my machines in particular, that make them look quote-unquote nicer. But that's just part of the hobby, you know? I buy pinball machines mainly to play them, but I also like one of my favorite things to do is when I get a new game is to sit down for a night, grab a case of beer, and just clean it. Fix it up a little bit, you know, make it, like, tidy it up. Not really quote-unquote fix it up, because I don't like buying games that aren't really 100% working. because sometimes some of the issues are just over my head. But I do like just relaxing and getting my hands a little bit dirty, basically. You know, my only other creative outlet right now is YouTube and Twitch, and, you know, the occasional photoshopping job for thumbnails or, you know, stream templates or things like that. So, you know, being able to get my hands into a pinball machine and clean it up and tweak it is a part of the fun of having a pinball machine, and it kind of you know, appeases that creative itch I get. But then the actual gameplay itself on pinball, you know, requires a high level of skill, which I really appreciate as well. But the great thing about pinball is you don't have to be good at it to enjoy it, and I think that's actually the case with a lot of difficult things. I think they are fun even if you suck at them, and the people that, you know, can't get into something because they're not good, I think they're just in the wrong mindset. But pinball is just fun no matter what. I mean, the second you start flipping and you see like the ball bouncing around, you feel like the rumbling of the machine, you know, you feel like that physical reaction to your flipper presses and the pop bumpers, and in certain games, shaker motors. It's really hard to not like pinball. And I'd almost be willing to say that, you know, people that really say they don't like pinball, I feel like they're really just... they probably got sticks up their butts. High speed. Nice. That's a classic. Hey Mario, welcome back, man. I saw you lurking on Twitch earlier today before I signed off. I mean, come on, Sleeves, you know what I'm gonna say. Doom. It would have to be a Doom table. I would have to make a Doom table. I mean, it's that. Addams Family is an excellent table. I'd love to own one of those. Addams Family is expensive. You're looking at between $5,000 and $6,000 for that machine in just average condition. And then it goes up for super nice models. Yeah, I would like to say Castlevania, but I think I would have to do Doom. Like, Doom is just one of those games where, like, Doom is a visceral kind of game, and combining that with pinball could potentially be awesome. Gotta love that there's still monster infighting in this version of the game. So monster infighting is where, you know, one monster will shoot another by accident, and the monster up front will get pissed off and run back and attack the guy that hit him, which is pretty cool. Enemies of the same type won't attack each other. For the most part, I think the zombie soldiers and shotgunners can attack each other, at least in the PC versions of the game. Yeah, typically, like, Pinky Demons won't attack Pinky Demons and so forth, but if a shotgunner hits a Pinky Demon, the Pinky Demon will turn around and go kill the shotgunner. Hey, James, thank you for your patronage, man. Now, there is actually there's a guy that is actually making a homebrew Doom table at this very moment. He's been working on it for the last year or so. And it looks pretty cool. It really does look pretty cool. Yeah. So there's actually a thread on Pinside about that where he posts updates and things like that. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Sleeves. Like, you know, there's been some odd themes out there, but with, you know, fun layouts. There's also been just like good original themes as well with equally odd layouts. Yeah, but ultimately is the game fun? That's the question you ask with you know, pinball designs. Is it fun? Of course, there's different layers to fun. Does the game flow well? Does it feel good when you flip? Things like that. Does this shot feel good? Does the ball, like, you know, does the ball wrap around smoothly around a rail, or does it just, like, rattle and just move around in a clunky manner? But then you've also got, you know, how are the sounds integrated? But then for someone like me, who's, you would say a higher level player, it's what are the rules like? You know, how interesting is the game to play if you're, you know, a higher skilled player? So there's a lot of, you know, different angles you can look at, you know, when it comes to, you know, asking whether a pinball machine is actually good or not, or enjoyable to one person over another. One person versus another. Mario... Drowns in Kool-Aid, I'm a whatever the best hardware is at the moment kind of fellow. I don't have preference over AMD or Intel. Currently, right now, I'm running an AMD Ryzen system I built back in May. And I got that because it was shown to be much better for multitasking and production work. Which, you know, I do video editing for my YouTube stuff. I also live stream and render videos at the same time now with my Ryzen system. So right now I'm in the Ryzen camp. But if Intel comes out with something in the future when it's time for me to upgrade that is priced competitively, which they're not doing right now, and it's shown to be the better chip, then I'll go Intel. You know, it just really depends on what's on the market. So, no one is trying, Wayne, because they've already done it. They did that a few years ago. Well, Darren, most pinball machines are up to 4 players, dude. So that's not really a selling point. But, no, it is a cool game. You're gonna like it. And if you don't like it, you can just sell it and get another one. Mario Mania, you're mentioning Game Shark CD. What Game Shark are you talking about? What system? Because there's Game Sharks for a bunch of different systems. If you're talking like PS1, no, I don't think it'll let you play imports. Unless you're able to do the swap trick with the spring. I don't think you can even do that with Game Shark. I think you can only do that with those rear inserted action replays and whatnot. Goldfinger carts and things like that. But now if you're talking Dreamcast, yes, the Game Shark will allow you to play imports. Okay, so you're talking PS1. Yeah, I don't think the Game Shark will allow you to do that unless you have a version that plugs into the serial port. Then with the spring trick, you might actually be able to do it. You should just look it up run a search on Google or something, and see what results you find. So I know that in order to play imports, you could use an action replay or, you know, the knockoff, you know, the similar knockoff cards like the Goldfinger and whatnot. I think I actually have both still for, you know, my PS1. I have no use for them because I have a Japanese PS2 now. I just use that when I want to play PS1 imports. Actually, Mario, you know what I can do? I'll have to check my PS1 system box, because that's where I keep some of my extra accessories if I'm not using them anymore. And I'll have to see if I have the action replay or the Goldfinger, and if I do, I could potentially just send it to you. Wait, what did you say? You don't have any Japanese PS1 games there? Oh, with the Game Shark with the lid open, you ran backups. Well, if you ran backups, you should be able to run imports, no problem. Alright, well, never mind then. Yeah, so are you doing the swap trick? Or you have, like, you know, you have a spring in the system tray, which keeps the disc running, and then when it stops, you flip the discs out. You swap them out, basically. Yeah, I read about the Intel 18-core CPU, but it's like double the price of the AMD Threadripper, so there's it's just not worth it. Okay, Mario. Well, yeah, if you're running backups, then yeah, you'll be able to do imports just fine. Of course, if you're willing to do backups, there's really no point in buying imports. Unless you want to, you know, collect some imports or whatever. Yeah, no, I'm really happy with my Ryzen system, and it's been great for streaming. It's been great for the video editing and things like that. And it's just phenomenal at multitasking. You know, I can stream at high bit rates and resolutions and render a video at the same time, which is kind of amazing. And basically not have any performance degradation on the live stream, which is great. I could even probably play a PC game at the same time while I do all of that. It's really something. You can call him whatever you want. I don't think Doom Guy even has a name. We can call him Ash. Alright, we're gonna skip that room up top. We're gonna skip that for now. Yeah, no Pirate Doom. I'm not gonna be playing any Doom in October, unfortunately, for my live streams or whatnot. I did contemplate doing Doom 2016 on PC, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't know. There is a slight possibility it could happen. It depends on the kind of mood I'm in. I am gonna play at least one first-person shooter on PC, but I don't want to spoil it. Keep in mind that I am going to be streaming, you know, if you're just stopping in, I am going to be streaming on Tuesday mornings as well during October, so, you know, if you can't catch me on the Thursday stream, I'll also be streaming on Tuesday mornings. There we go. Alright, so we're going to come on up here. And then we're going to drop off to the right. Just like so. Come on in here. Flip that. And grab this. And then grab this. This is just amazing level design. Like, it puts you out right to where you need to go. And it's a secret that puts you where you need to be. That's an awesome kind of secret. Yeah, we only had that one bot last week. And it kept recurring too. And then, you know, what's funny is I got a comment from it on one of my videos, and it showed up in the spam folder. So I don't know, maybe they got to it and they YouTube blocked it permanently. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, Blood is absurdly hard, yeah. No, I'm a fan of the game. I've played it a lot. I had it back in the day and I really enjoyed it, but holy crap is that game hard. You know, it's definitely one of those I want to revisit on stream, on Twitch. And, you know, if I get familiar enough with it again, then I'll do a YouTube stream as well. But it is not an easy game at all. Blood is actually probably one of the hardest first-person shooters I've ever played. And it's really hard for all the wrong reasons, too. You know, it's got a lot of hit-scanning enemies. Basically enemies that can hit you if they just see you. Like the bullets are invisible, there aren't really bullets. Things like that. There's also lots of ammo starvation throughout the game. Especially in the early parts of the game. Enemies that are bullet sponges, they just really absorb your bullets and they take forever to kill. James, Blood is a PC game. It's running on the build engine, which basically powered Duke Nukem 3D. So it's a PC MS-DOS first-person shooter from the mid-90s. Yeah, you can get Blood on GOG or Steam. Alright, let's come down here. Oh, we can't go back. Oh, no, we can. Okay, cool. Figured I'll just get all my ammo back. Steam version of the original Blood doesn't work too great. It works fine, Sleeves. It's got this very generic DOSBox profile, so you need to tweak it to get it to run better. If you're going to run Blood, much like if you're going to run Doom these days, you're better off just using a source port. So you have greater configuration options and things like that, better stability, better performance. I mean, you can buy the Steam version and just use it in a source port. Just like you can buy the Steam version of Doom and use the WAD file in a source port. Which is basically what I did. I mean, the GOG release is basically, it's not really that much different from the Steam release, if I recall correctly. It's still just using a generic DOSBox profile. So, ultimately, you still want to take that and run it in a source port. My favorite source port is just ZDoom. And yeah, just ZDoom. Unfortunately, it doesn't handle the super megawads super well. You know, like, you know, the later parts of Sunlust or Sunder or things like that. You know, those crazy wads with like thousands and thousands and thousands of enemies. But I just love how ZDoom feels, and it looks good. Nice and sharp and crisp. Lots of options. I've tried other source ports like PR Boom Plus, and whatnot, and it just, I don't know, not as much to configure, not as smooth of a feel for me, things like that. Yeah, I mean, GZDoom basically, you know, it's an extension of ZDoom. You know, ZDoom actually is really, I think, no longer under development. GZDoom basically is the main source port now, under the ZDoom line. I remember there was a little while there on my old system where I was having major stability problems with GZDoom, which is one reason I went back to just plain old ZDoom. It was a lot more stable. I mean, on my new system, I haven't had any stability issues. Then again, I've just been using ZDoom on my new system, since my new system is a lot more powerful, and, you know, they can still handle those super large maps, even in ZDoom. How far do I plan on going tonight? I was thinking about trying to beat the game. We're about an hour and a half in already. We'll see. Winning. Winning. Alright, let's get our health back. Yeah, I was considering trying Nightmare after. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, with how much I'm struggling on Ultraviolence, I might not try Nightmare. Do I like the Jag controller? I do like the Jag controller, yes. Cacodemon just want a hug. I mean, the Jaguar controller, it's not my favorite controller for Doom. But I do like the controller. I think it's a bleh. I think it's a comfortable controller. I do enjoy it. Yeah, this isn't the PC version. I can't do that. In the PC version, on this level in particular, when I get the Berserk power-up, I'll just run through most of the level just punching everything, but I don't have the accuracy on this version, so I can't do that. Otherwise, I'm gonna get killed if I try. Hey, see ya, Cabal. Hey, thanks for stopping in for at least a little bit. Best of luck against Shao Kahn. Hey, thanks again, Cabal. I appreciate it. Man, I forgot how much shorter some of these levels are in this version. I mean, that's cool. I don't mind the differences. I think it's neat going back and seeing these altered stages, but when you're used to the PC version, you come back, you're like, oh, that's the whole level? It's like half the level was chopped out. Like in the PC version, there's a pit down here. You know, this is just, you can fall down, there's no risk. Wow, 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 wow. Assuming your hands are big enough, the Jag controller was a little too bulky for my liking. Yeah, it is a little bulky. At least my hands are the right size. You know, like my thumbs sit on top of the controller, my four fingers just rest on the grips, basically. You know, it just feels very natural for me. But yeah, I can see if you've got really tiny hands, maybe it could be an issue. I've been blessed with above medium-sized hands. I guess that's a blessing, I don't know. Do I like the Half-Life series? I haven't played a lot of the Half-Life series. It seems okay. I did try playing Half-Life 2 over the summer. I played it for about an hour and a half or 2 hours, and it just seemed like it was very linear. And obviously cinematic. So I don't know how I feel about them. I didn't really experience them back when they were new. How long am I streaming? I don't know. Probably for at least another hour. I mean, we might even run through the whole game. Might be another hour and a half. The Xbox Duke controller. Well, yeah, the keypad is kind of unnecessary for some games, but in other games, it's highly useful, you know? Games like Doom and Iron Soldier and iWar and, you know, stuff like that, Syndicate and whatever, it's just, is it used in Syndicate? I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, the number pad can be very, very useful, depending on the game. Doesn't work well for all games. I mean, you're not going to use the number keypad for Zool 2 or Bubsy or something like that, but for your first-person shooters and your strategy games and your mech games and things like that, it's very nice to have. Alright, see you, Brandon. Hey, Brandon, I'll message you on Saturday on our way back. And I'll let you know when you can come over. Who needs guns when you've got brass knuckles? This guy doesn't. And you can see I went from like 150% health to 47%, so that's why you don't do that. On Jag Doom, anyway. On PC Doom, you get the flexibility to dodge, but in Jag Doom, you don't have that. The less mentioned about Zoop, the better, sleaze. We don't want to be banning Andy again tonight. I mean, I can ban Andy if he wants to. If he wants me to ban him. Hey, see you, Brandon. So one of the cool things about this version is the BFG exists without a cheat code. The BFG is in fact in the Sega 32X version of this game, but it's not actually anywhere in any of the maps. You have to use a cheat code to access it. Yeah, it's nice to play a version of the game, you know, with all of the guns in it. No overlay for Syndicate. Yeah, no, I mean, there doesn't have to be an overlay, but, I mean, do the keys actually do anything on Syndicate? It's been a long time since I played that game as well, and I never put much time into it. I assumed it probably used the keypad. The overlay absolutely helps, though, for sure. But what I was more concerned about is if the keys actually did something useful in-game, that's all. As in, oh, the keypad is useful for this game, that sort of thing. Like, I'm not even playing with the Doom overlay right now. I have it, but I've got the Iron Soldier overlay on here. I don't even know why I still have that overlay. I don't have the game anymore. It does use the keypad, okay. Yeah, that's fine. If there was a reason to get a Jaguar, what would it be? It would be your general curiosity for a failed mid-90s console. That's what it would be. That should always be your reason. You are genuinely interested in it. Now, if you're phrasing the question as in like, oh, what games should I get? You know, to justify the purchase or whatever. Nah. I mean, I would say Doom is one. A lot of people like Alien vs. Predator. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but it is one of the quote-unquote AAA titles in the system. Iron Soldier. Tempest 2000. You know, stuff like that. Super Burnout. And it's got some decent ports of other games that, you know, people either, you know, either like or they don't like. You know, it's got a really good version of Flashback. You know, some people love Zool 2, some people don't. Rayman is pretty awesome on it. Although a little redundant since you can get it on PlayStation and Saturn. Yeah, there's other stuff. It's got a quite the homebrew community. There's lots of games released post 1998. The Jaguar version of Alien vs. Predator, it was basically the start of the current Alien vs. Predator series. I guess it's not really current anymore, but Rebellion created it, and they went on to make, you know, the AVP, I guess what's now known as AVP 2000, and the future AVP games as well. So it really started with the Jaguar. Hey, see ya, Darren. All right. Yeah, ultimately you gotta look at the library and see the types of games that appeal to you. The thing about the Jaguar is it's got games in a wide variety of genres. Some of those games, though, don't really do the genres justice. So, for instance, like, it doesn't really have any great fighting games, I should say. A lot of people will tout, like, Ultra Vortex, but the fact is, that's a pretty shallow game. Style over substance. And it just doesn't even play very well. So fighting games, not really a no-go. They're kind of a no-go in the Jaguar, despite having 5 of them. I mean, Primal Rage is decent, but you need the CD drive for that, and that is not worth the price. You can just buy the PS1 or Saturn versions of that game and call it a day. Or do the right thing and get the Midway Arcade Treasures Volume 2 on Xbox. That's the correct way to play Primal Rage. Oh yeah, Missile Command 3D. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. That's a pretty solid game. I mean, you've also got Defender 2000. I wasn't really a huge fan of that. A lot of people really praise it. I thought it was kind of a mess, but Tempest 2000 is the retro remake you want to check out on the Jaguar. And if you want your fix for another one, I would suggest Missile Command 3D next, which is actually a really solid game with a wide variety of gameplay modes. And the classic style Missile Command that's in there is actually pretty fun as well. I forgot how much faster the cacodemons are in this version. Speaking of impossible things, Rayman was a thing, yeah. Oh yeah, no, I mean there is no perfect version of Primal Rage on a home system, but that's still your best option, and most people aren't gonna be able to tell the differences. There aren't that many people's sleeves that are super familiar with Primal Rage. You know, it was a game for a lot of people they played 20 years ago, 23 years ago, whatever, and it was just a novelty. So ultimately, that's still the best way to play Primal Rage at home. The Saturn version of Primal Rage is lacking a lot of frames of animation and stuff like that, so you're still better off playing the Midway Arcade Treasures version. Plus, the one on the Midway Arcade Treasures is a later release, so it is a more current ROM revision, which allows you to do moves if as if you were playing a Street Fighter game or something like that, or Mortal Kombat. And you can still input the moves the traditional way as well. So that's one thing people always had an issue with Primal Rage. You had to hold down the buttons and then do the motion. I never had a problem with it. That's how I learned how to play the game, so I just got used to it. Yeah, the Jaguar, though, itself has a wide variety of games, a wide array of genres represented on the platform, but, a lot of the games, like, you gotta have a certain kind of taste. It doesn't have a whole lot of games that appeal to just everyone. There aren't a whole lot of games on the Jaguar that have mass appeal. There aren't really a lot of platformers. There's barely any shoot-'em-ups. I mean, really, it's got two. It's got Raiden and Trevor McFur, and Trevor McFur is pretty awful. Raiden is pretty good, though. I do like Raiden on the Jaguar. That's another one I would recommend, actually. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Raiden series, so having it on the Jaguar is nice to have. Yeah, it was Xenon 2 Mega Blast. Sleeves. A lot of times when I talk about, like, the Jaguar and, you know, games available for it, I mainly talk about, the Atari era releases, like, before the Jaguar went kaput. Xenon 2 is a recent, port. It was done, actually, earlier this year. Or was it done sometime late last year? I don't remember. But the final run of the game was done earlier this year. And that's the batch I got my copy from. It's a $70 release. So yeah, I mean, it is there, it's a thing, it's cool, but yeah, a lot of times when I talk about, you know, the Jaguar library, I mainly talk about you know, the Atari era releases, which are for the most part still easy to get. Some of these homebrews have limited runs, you know, a couple hundred copies if that, and once they're gone, they're gone. It's really difficult to get them. I don't like Trevor McFur because it's a poorly designed game. It's not cohesive at all. It's not that much fun. It's... yeah. It's just not a good shmup. The lack of music doesn't help, but I don't think music would have saved that game, because if you listen to the music on the title screen, it's kind of garbage. And if that's what the music would be like throughout the whole game, I would just turn it off anyway. Yeah, Trevor McFur is a good-looking game. Sort of. If floating toys in the air is, you know... let's say it looks nice and sharp, but the visual style still is not appealing at all. The game is just a mess. It's like they just quickly slapped together a game and, you know, quickly slapped together a demo, and Atari was like, quick, make that into a full game! And the devs were probably like, are you sure? Yes, do it! Do it now! Get to me, chopper! Okay, Atari, if you say so. As long as we get paid. Yeah, Trevor McFur is just a really crappy game, that's all. Hey, you know, it looks okay, but it's not a good shooter. Usually I find that people that really like that game, they don't play many other shooters, and that's okay. But if you play a lot of other shooters, Trevor McFur is pretty awful. by typical shmup standards. Sorry if I just ruined someone's childhood. Alright guys, I'm gonna actually take a quick 2-minute break. I'm gonna use the restroom and probably grab another caffeinated beverage. So, I'll just let this music play out. I don't think Trevor McFur costs that much. I mean, I think it's a $20 or $30 game. It's not great, obviously, but, you know, yeah. You got a calculus in your future. Thanks, Drowns and Kool-Aid. Take care. Thanks for stopping in. All right. Patchouli is in the bedroom, Miku. I'm gonna skip that secret. What am I drinking tonight? Just Diet Pepsi. And actually, I didn't go grab another one. I was like, I don't actually need one. Oh crap, why did I do that? What the hell are you talking about, Andy? You're scaring me, Andy. All right, making progress. Slowly but surely. Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I definitely would have preferred to have music too. In both games, this and Cybermorph. I mean, I understand the reason why there's no music in this game in particular, but the game just feels a little barren without it. Yeah, I always play Doom with music. You know, I always play Doom with the original Doom soundtrack. Yeah, I'll pass on looking that up, Andy. Oh, no, I've seen it. It's one of those Mountain Dew commercials. Yeah, I saw it yesterday. Trust me, that is not the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. It is pretty dumb for a commercial, though. I guess the whole point of it, though, was to get people talking about it. And hey, it worked! Good job, Mountain Dew. Good job. GG. Alright, I know there's a bear in here somewhere. Yeah, Doom 4 is awesome. I love it, man. It's my favorite modern game that's come out. Well, since it came out. Knock it too much, Karnov. You're gonna get the boot out the door, man. What's up, Christopher Margot? How are you doing? I'm good, Christopher. Thanks for asking, man. Give me the power. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and just exit. Yeah, my one of my biggest pet peeves and with streaming is, you know, people coming in and just knocking what I'm streaming. It's like, regardless of what you think of it, just keep it to yourself. You know, if you want to voice your opinion, go start your own channel and start your own stream. You know, I don't walk into other people's streams and be like, that game is fugly. Because it doesn't add anything to the conversation or stream. So... And on my Twitch channel, what I'm going to do is they've implemented this system. Well, still, Karnov, keep it to yourself. It's negativity. Keep it to yourself. Or go start your own stream. Yeah, there's a few pet peeves I have. There's stuff like that. Just general negativity that's unwarranted. And then there's backseat driving. It's obviously another big one, which a couple of you guys experienced a few weeks back. Yeah, those are my two biggest pet peeves with streaming. But thank you, Mario. I like you, Mario. Alright, this is actually the level where if you die, it's really difficult to recover. So we'll just see what happens here. Well, I mean, wait, we are playing on the Jaguar, you know, it's not like I've got the flexible controls of the PC version. Here's the plan, don't die. I like that plan, Sleeves. That's a good plan. It's opposite day. Alright, we're gonna actually go the other way around. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Common gamer? Yeah, exactly. You know, I gotta start using the Captain Obvious card again. Yeah, the no music is what turns off a lot of people with this version of Doom, specifically. And obviously, this is not the best way to experience Doom in this day and age. This is more for people that are looking for a good Jaguar game, or, you know, Doom super fans, kind of like myself. And so myself personally, I love playing all the versions of Doom and going back to them, especially on stream and on YouTube and things like that. I mean, I even play the Saturn version. It's kind of awful. Not kind of awful, it really is awful, but I do still play it occasionally. We'll probably do a live stream of Saturn Doom again sometime in the future. Because I don't think I can force myself to do another full long play of that game. I did it about 5, 6, 7 years ago. And that was, you know, 3.5 hours of my life I'll never get back. Actually, it was longer than that. It was like 3.5 hours for both the Doom side and the Doom 2 side, separately. So it was like 7 hours of my life I'll never get back. I have an old long play video of that on my channel. Alright, we need to go back. 32X version, I like the 32X one. It's basically like this one, except it actually runs at a more, like an even more brisk pace than this. And I feel the controls are more responsive in the 32X one. So I actually really enjoyed playing that. And it's kind of nice, actually, that it's short and sweet. You know, it doesn't take that long to run through. Because it's lacking a lot of stages from this version. Like, it's only got 17 levels total. And one of those is only accessible if you play through the entire game straight through from start to finish. The 32X one feels good. It's a solid game. A lot of people like to kind of crap on it, but it is a fun version of Doom. And I don't know if you guys saw, Digital Foundry uploaded a video last week comparing all the console versions of Doom. And they monitor frame rates and all that stuff. They talk about the history with the ports. And they actually praise the 32X version quite a bit. They're like, ultimately, it's still Doom and it's still fun. And that's kind of how I feel about that version of Doom. It's one of those versions of Doom that's become cool to hate for really no apparent reason. Oh no, the screen size is slightly smaller. Oh boy, the misery. People on the internet just, I don't know, they like to complain. In certain cases, they like to complain just for the sake of complaining. But if you actually sit down and just play 32X Doom, it is fun. And you're playing Doom on a freaking Sega Genesis, basically. I mean, that in and of itself is pretty awesome. Yeah, Digital Foundry posted it last week. What I'll do is I'll find the link and I'll just post it for you guys. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to actually link for you guys, but that's the link. If you, oh, there it is. Cool. It parsed. Yeah, really, really amazing video. Hey, Reality Studio, thank you so much for your patronage, dude. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, we're playing Jag Doom tonight. Yeah, no, 32X Doom was hurried, Dwayne. Absolutely. Did Drilly Press leave? Oh, I didn't see goodnight to Drilly Press. The Saturn version of Doom is awful. They actually talk about that in the Digital Foundry video. So I highly recommend clicking on that link and then like adding that to a watch later list or something and definitely watching it. They even talk about the 3DO debacle. Always a fan of any version of Doom. Hell yeah. No, Wayne. No. You watch the Digital Foundry video, Wayne. So basically there was this like rendering technique Rage wanted to use on Saturn Doom. John Carmack specifically told them, no, don't do it that way because we don't like the texture warping or whatever. It doesn't look right. And so they had to go with an alternate rendering method which just demolished the frame rate. And there's actually a tweet John Carmack you know, tweeted and stating, yeah, in hindsight we probably should have went with the original rendering method, you know, or we should have been a little more experimental with that version of Doom. So in a way it's software's fault. It's John Carmack's fault, you know. And so yeah, apparently Rage had a version of Saturn Doom running at like 60 frames a second or something. But John Carmack didn't like the way that things looked, so he asked them to do things differently. Yeah, it's all in that Digital Foundry video. It's really interesting stuff. Okay, so this is not actually the Tower of Babel. This is a new level made just for these console versions of Doom. So in PC Doom, or even Super Nintendo Doom, actually, funny enough, this is where you would fight the Cyber Demon. But there is no Cyber Demon. Let's see if we can get the Pinkies to fight. No, never mind. That's not good. Japanese Doom on the Sega Saturn is no better than the North American one, and Digital Foundry did that test too. They completely debunked that myth, which is why, again, you guys got to check out that video. It's pretty amazing. So the long-running myth is that the Japanese version of Doom on the Sega Saturn it performs better. It's absolutely not true. They basically got the game under the proverbial microscope. I can't freaking talk right now. I'm so tired. The proverbial microscope. And completely debunked that. They put the US version side by side with the Japanese one, and the frame rates were pretty much identical. Yeah. The fact that Super Nintendo Doom exists boggles your mind. Yeah. It still boggles my mind, too. It's a pretty amazing feat. It's obviously not the one you're going to recommend to your friends to play unless you hate them. But, it really is impressive nonetheless. And I still have a soft spot for it because it was the first version I really played back in the day. And I have no ammo. Alright, this is going to actually be pretty tough, because we don't really have a whole lot of ammo. We'll see what happens. It doesn't run better than Saturn Doom, Christopher. It doesn't run better than Saturn Doom. I mean, Saturn Doom is pretty bad, but it's not that bad. You know, especially if you're playing just the Ultimate Doom side. It actually runs okay. Like, it's totally playable and tolerable. You know, it runs much better than Super Nintendo Doom does, if you're playing just the Ultimate Doom levels. No, not really about the same. Oh, that's not good. The Saturn version definitely runs at a more brisk pace than the Super Nintendo one. Through and through. You know, later on in the game, when you get to some of the maps added in for the 4th episode of Doom, where you're playing some of the larger stages on the Doom 2 side, it gets really sluggish. You know, we're talking 2 or 3 frames a second, but that's not indicative of what the rest of the game is like. So... no, the frame rate is definitely smoother in the Saturn version, trust me. It is definitely smoother. All right. Yeah, sorry, Christopher. You probably are remembering it wrong. The only reason I can really say this with conviction is that I played the Saturn version of Doom on stream on Twitch a few weeks ago. So, and I'm very familiar with the Super Nintendo version. I've played it a lot as well. Hell, I've got it on my wall right behind me. And, but yeah. And it helps when you're able to play them back to back, which is basically what, you know, I do, so... Neither version is the ideal way to experience Doom. That is for sure. Man. This is what sucks about running out of ammo. Oh, jeez. Yeah, this sucks. Hey, encrypted printer. Man, this is not good. Yeah, not good at all. That was close. No, I am definitely not intentionally sandbagging. Maybe on PC Doom, but on console Doom, it's a different story. Or at least Jaguar Doom. I just don't have the flexibility with these controls that I do on the PC. I need to save as much ammo as I can. We're just gonna skip that. Well, this is definitely putting me on edge. Which, that's good. That makes it more interesting for you guys. All right. We're actually getting close to the end of the game. There's not a ton of, like, episode 3 stages in this game. Demonic glory hole. So if you stop hearing the clacking, is that like an immersion breaking thing? Dude, it feels like I'm right there next to him. Yeah, I could really use some more ammo. Andy, no, there's like 20, 24 or 25. Maybe even... Yeah, I don't think it's 27. I think it's 24. 24-ish. Yep, exactly, sleeves. All right, good stuff. Oh man, coughing now. That's weird. All right, we're getting pretty close, guys. We are pretty close. This is one of the last levels in the game. Thanks, James. God, they fire so fast in this version. The Concha Demons are definitely the most dangerous enemies in this version of Doom. At least on Ultra Violence. I mean, because not only do they fire faster, but you've got more limited control, so you don't have, like, the tools to get around them like you do in the PC version. You're not as, mobile, basically. Not as flexible. Hey, Richie's old garbage. That's not good. That's actually really cool. I did the whole level without ever going into that inner circle area, so that was pretty neat. Oh man. almost there, guys. We are almost there. Man, that does a lot of damage. Yeah, I noticed that too, Sleeves is struggling a little bit. It's better that you can't do on it. Yes, Sleeves, that is apparently true. They say that there's going to be more SNES Minis available at launch than there were NES Minis in their entirety. And they're going to keep producing the Super Nintendo Classics into 2018. Summer of 2018, they're going to be rerunning the NES Classic again. Yeah, no, it's nice, Sleeves. I mean, I wanted to get an NES Classic just to stream it for people, because people wanted to see it. Couldn't get one, and I legitimately want the Super Nintendo Classic because of, you know, some of the games that are on it that you can't run in flash carts, like Star Fox 2, and Mario RPG, and Kirby Superstar, blah blah blah. So, yeah, it's nice to see that Nintendo likes money again. Oh yeah, yeah, they definitely are. Alright, this could be bad. Alright, this is almost it. We're almost there, guys. No, I should probably not fight both together. I was like, well, if it's just one, I can just chainsaw it, and I forgot there was two. The Atari box is dumb, James. it's dumb. And it's shaping up to be no less retarded than the retro blah blah blah, the Coleco Chameleon debacle. Sorry to be blunt about it. You don't want to know, Sleeves. Well, unless you want good popcorn fodder. Well, the big difference, Sleeves, is that the Virtual Boy actually exists. And it's got good games on it. The Atari box doesn't exist yet. They want people to fund it through Indiegogo. They don't have a prototype. It's stupid. And even when it comes to fruition, if it does, it's basically just going to be a Linux box. That's all it is. It's a device that doesn't need to exist, and they're trying to bank on people's nostalgia for the brand, and anyone, you know, with 2 peanuts for a brain would be able to tell that this is this thing is a bad idea. There's a good long-running thread on good old Atari Age, and if you feel like popping some popcorn and kicking back, then I highly recommend reading the thread. Even die-hard Atari fans are like, yeah, this is stupid. Just stumbled onto Brutal Doom. Oh, you're in for a treat, man. Brutal Doom is awesome. Yeah, it's a very different experience from standard Doom, but it's a ton of fun. Alright, this is where I need to be. This is what I was talking about earlier. These levels are like labyrinthian. They're like labyrinths, but, you know, if you play them right, the teleporters will put you out. Not even teleporters, but like the secrets and things like that, or just, yeah, not even secrets. Holy crap, I can't put 2 sentences together and make them make any damn sense at all right now. Oh my god. The point is, the flow of the levels is very nice. They put you where you need to be at very specific points. I mean, there's totally the opportunity to get lost, but the devs did a really good job of, you know, mapping out the levels in a way to where, like, they flow really smoothly. And if you play them right, it just takes you from, you know, point A to point B to point C to point D in a very smooth manner. You know, I have very, very high respect for, you know, the classic Doom level designers, because they really knew what they were doing. You know, there was a philosophy to their mapping. You know, that's one thing a lot of developers just kind of failed at when it came to making first-person shooters. It's just like they just had no idea when it came to mapping. They just here's a rectangular corridor, here's another one, and here's another one, and there's no rhythm or rhyme to it. It's just a bunch of, you know, it's a maze. It's like plotting out a maze on paper. It's like, no, that's not the right, it's not the right mindset to go into when you're making levels for an FPS. Just because it's maze-like doesn't mean it's good. Just like because your name is Trevor McFur and you got pre-rendered graphics on the Jaguar, it doesn't make you good either. Sorry, I had to go back to that. Oh, man. That is twice now we've talked about Trevor McFur on this stream. Ooh, nice. The red Super Nintendo cartridge. That's awesome. It's good to see people that have fond memories of that. The new Doom, I mean, it's different, but it kicks ass. It's an awesome game. If you haven't played it, I highly recommend checking it out. There we go. This is where I need to be. Yep, absolutely, Sleeves. Like, good mapping can, or level design in general, not just, you know, mapping in a first-person shooter, you know, it can really make or break a game. All right, this is our last level. I don't even know why I'm bothering. Dead. Alright guys, that is Doom on the Jaguar. We just did it. Had a hard time in the beginning, but we still made it happen. Man. Yeah, so that level was actually the hidden stage for episode 2 in the original PC Doom. And in the 32X one, that's the final level in the game as well, but it's only unlockable if you play the game from start to finish. In the Jaguar version, that's the final stage, I think, no matter what. In 64 Mini with Doom 64. Yeah, I have a feeling that Nintendo probably won't put something like Doom on a classic console like that. They like to be family friendly. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, James. Thank you, Sleeves. Jaggy Doom is Jaggy done. Thanks, Jermaine. Good to see you rediscovering Doom. Doom is an amazing game. It's a good game regardless of what system you play it on. Well, I take that back. Almost regardless what system you play it on. If you're playing the 3DO version, you probably got better things to be doing with your time. I need to snapshot this. I need to do this more often for my Facebook page. Andy, I think I'm gonna do a little bit of VR. Just a little bit, and then I'm gonna try to hit the sack somewhat early. Yep, that's what I said, Andy. Would you like me to say it again? But yes, virtual reality, Andy. I think I might stream some VR. I picked up Serious Sam: The Last Hope, and I've been playing it the last couple of days. I played it earlier this morning on stream, so I think I might play it some more on stream. I've been sitting down for the last 3 hours, so I'd like to stand back up on my feet. Seriously, Andy? You're kidding me, Andy, right? I'm on it, Sleeves. So yeah. So what's going on, guys? I can, you know, I don't think I'm going to attempt Nightmare. We've been going for over 3 hours now. And, wow, 3 hours and 20 minutes! Jeez, I thought it was like 2.5 hours. Yeah, this took me longer than anticipated. You know, sitting there reading chat and dying quite a few times did not help. Have you never seen a VR headset, Andy? It's been all the rage like the last couple of years. Like, I know there's a lot of people that haven't been able to try VR, but they at least know what it is. They know it's, you know, they know what a VR headset looks like, at the very least. Yeah, so yeah, we're not going to try Nightmare. I'm just going to end on a high note here, and but I can hang out for a few minutes, answer any questions or respond to any comments or anything like that that you guys might have. My first October Let's Play, horror-themed Let's Play, will be posted on Sunday for non-Patreon backers. It is a very specific point-and-click adventure game on the NES. Actually, Sleeves, the motion controls in VR is pretty badass, man. When it actually feels like it's your hands and arms, it's different than it was like on the Wii. You know, you can see your hands in the VR. Like if you're playing Serious Sam or Robo Recall, you know, you can see your guns and move them around, and it's so cool. But yeah, if you guys are bored, you feel free to hop on over to my Twitch channel. I'm gonna start another stream up right after this. I can't stream that late today. I need to try to get some sleep. Actually, what I should do is probably just try to go to sleep, but I don't know if... I don't know. So yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it. Like I said, new Let's Play up on Sunday. No, VR won't replace regular gaming. No, absolutely. I don't think anyone's really saying that. Yeah. Hey, no problem, James. I hope you enjoyed it. But yeah, VR is pretty amazing, but yeah, it's never gonna be a replacement for, you know, couch gaming or something like that. It's a different experience. Sleep is for the unhappy. Yeah, if any of you guys know someone with a VR headset, like a good one, like a HTC Vive or an Oculus Rift, I would definitely recommend, you know, seeing if you could try it out. I'm sure they'll be happy to let you try it. You know, people that have awesome experiences like these, like with VR, they want to share it with others. You know, they want others to experience it, because the first time you experience VR, it's just like, wow, I never thought I'd be experiencing something like this in my lifetime. You know, it's that cool. I mean, the novelty can wear off. You get used to it, just like you get used to anything, but the immersion is always there, like, regardless. And, it's pretty sweet. And games that use guns, you know, light gun style games, work really, really well in VR. And, they're just a ton of fun. Thanks, Sleeves. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. Thanks for hanging out. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for me, guys. I'm going to go ahead and just wrap things up here. Let me go ahead and, you know, roll the old Patreon backers by again. So thanks again to you guys supporting this channel via Patreon. You know, as I always mention, it's not a necessity, but it definitely keeps me doing this at the rate I am doing it. You know, if there wasn't Patreon or, you know, things like that, I don't know, I would consider taking a break. So thanks guys for keeping me doing what I'm doing here, and I hope you guys continue to enjoy the streams and the Let's Plays and stuff like that. Also, thanks to the fellow super chatters, and doubly thanks to Reality Studio, Anthony Johnson, and James Campbell again. They all basically donated during this stream. I don't even know why you guys do that. You guys seriously spoil me. But thank you so much, guys. Yeah, see you, Jermaine. Take care. So, alrighty guys, I am out. I'll post my Twitch link in case anyone feels like heading over there. If you want to see a little bit of VR. I might not play that long. I might play for like an hour and then go to bed because I need to try to, you know, I'm trying to flip my sleep schedule this week because I've got to be up early on Saturday. So... But I'll see you guys. Stay tuned for the Let's Play on Sunday. And remember, Tuesday morning live streams all this month. Or October. It's not this month yet. October is 2 days from now. But yeah, stay tuned for that, guys. So, see you, Mario. Take care, man. And have a good night, everyone.